God.
We're live. So,
Yes.
We're
Eve, you see what we're
alive.
saying?
Yeah. I said I'm suffering, but I'm here.
Okay,
That would
good.
be the quote. Oh
So,
my
yeah.
goodness.
So,
Yes, excuse my yawning.
as
Oh.
as as usual. So, in a
Mm-hmm.
few seconds, we'll start. Just the
Yep.
time to share
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yeah. What a shame we didn't have today's weather yesterday,
I know, eh?
right?
Phew. And there was
That's
the Austin fans. There were a few, eh? There were like maybe 20 of them, 25.
Yeah. There
Oh, they
were
weren't
some.
ready. I
I
don't think
can't
they were ready.
imagine they'd be ready.
yeah, but it's
No.
nice, when you have when you're in expansion, you just
Yeah,
want to
that's
make
cool
sure
for
that
them. Yeah, for sure, man. You
you always follow
travel.
your team, right?
Yeah,
So.
that's nice, man.
But it costs a lot of I think probably if you're one of the Canadian teams, it costs you a load of money to
Hmm.
follow your team everywhere they go, unless you casually own your own plane or you have connections at Air Canada or one of the airlines. It's expensive like
It
as
is.
all hell. I know there are some budget airlines coming in to Canada at least, but there are still like a lot of limitations on where they'll fly you to. So I don't know how the Americans do it, man. Every time I see somebody coming up here, I'm like, where's your money? Tell me what you did with your life that you've clearly done right that I've done wrong.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm done sharing. So,
I'm not done yet.
oh,
Should
Eddie,
be
Eddie's
should
still
take a few
working. Okay,
seconds.
okay, it
Yeah.
won't be too long.
But yeah, just to answer Eve's questions, some people have money, so
Yeah, we
some
don't know
people
that
have
Must be
either,
money,
them.
man.
the Americans spend a lot. Have you know make a lot more than
Well, they're not taxed
anybody,
as
right?
much.
So
Yeah,
so yeah.
that's a good point,
Generally.
man. True.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, guys, I'm done.
You
So
All
whenever
good?
you guys
right.
want, we can
Let's go.
start.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
go.
start, man.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, guys. So I hope everybody's ready. Feel free to share the pod, retweet or share on Facebook, whatever you want to do, and we're gonna start in 30 seconds.
Hello, my friends. My name is Samuel Savy, and this week on the show, Montreal deflates at home and have now lost 3 of the last 4 in league action. MLS strike a major deal with Apple, and we got a lot of news regarding our national teams. That and a lot more in episode 87 of The Ball is Round. And I'm joined as usual by my friends Yves Paul and Hadzi Raphael. How's everyone?
Ah. I don't have a word.
What a
So,
bad week for us, right?
Oh man.
Football
yeah.
wise, it's
Yeah.
very tough week. Very
Yeah.
tough week.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Man,
It's hard to
where
get
to
much
start?
worse.
Yeah, don't say that, Yves. Don't say that.
Yeah, please don't say
Yeah,
that.
don't jinx it, because
Not. Oh my god.
mm,
Okay, I've heard
um,
with floors. Knock on wood.
yeah,
we
guys.
go.
Before we jump into the Austin game for Montreal, I don't want us to ramble too much on it because everything or so has been said on that. But I just want to hear you on how were you feeling, guys, when you were watching that FIFA 2026 World Cup show in which they were announcing the hosting cities for that tournament. Hady, I'll start with you. Of course, knowing that Montreal won't have a game, eh?
Yeah, you know what? I tweeted about that, and I was like, I'm not over it. I'm just not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not over it. But you know what? At least it's not going to be far. So, I'm going to go to Toronto. I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to go to whatever I can go in
Mm-hmm.
order to watch as many games as possible
Mm-hmm.
because, it's once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to watch a World Cup on home soil. So,
Mm-hmm.
can't wait. Can't wait. Very disappointed, but still can't wait.
If
Mm-hmm. Obviously not surprised and everything. We knew we knew Montreal was out, and I mean, I wasn't very surprised because the powers that be in Quebec, felt compelled to make a special committee for the return of the Nordiques, more than invest in the largest sporting event, the largest event period on the planet. So, I mean, I've made my relative peace with it and moved on. I don't think I'm ever going to be obviously okay with the decisions that was made. But nonetheless, I'm kind of disappointed for a couple of the American cities that didn't make the cut where, we have friends of the pod. So I'm disappointed for a few of them. But like Hady says, got to start saving my pennies now for lots of traveling in 2026.
Yeah, but we made friends around North America with that pod too, so we'll be able to see some of them. But I'm a bit disappointed for sure. I had I had talked about it before and say it's in the past. We knew we wouldn't have a game anyways, but looking at it just made me remember that it wouldn't happen. But no, I love to travel, so it's a good opportunity to go to places that I maybe
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't want to go. And like Alain, our friend, says, come to Seattle. That could be a cool place because that stadium is absolutely awesome. And yeah, but
Man, it's in my plans. It's in my plans, Alain. And you know
Well,
what? I have friends that live in Seattle, and they have a big house, and they want us to go there. So it's in my plans. I
don't
really
piss them
want to
off
go
the
one
next
day.
4 years.
So.
be
You got
cool
to stay on
there.
real good terms.
Yeah, guys. So, all right, we'll jump into the Austin game because there's so much to talk about this week. A lot of negatives, but we'll try to make it fun, guys. Because I know people will tune in to listen. We just don't want to bore them out and be negative. So we'll try to make it good. So,
So
Austin.
Eve can't talk. Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying?
No,
it's okay.
no. She's
It's
able to.
okay.
Is she allowed to talk?
I'll find something. I promise. I'll try really hard. How's that?
Oh man! So Montreal came into the Austin home game high off the 4-3 win against Cincinnati, but had lost since then. Georgi Mihailovic, Kamal Miller, and Sunusi Ibrahim through injuries, while Lassi Lapalainen was unavailable, being on COVID protocol. Austin, on their behalf, had not won for a full month before coming to Stade Saputo for the first time in club history. So, given all the possible changes, it was going to be very interesting what lineup Wilfried Nasi would come up to for this game. And it was Brezangol from right to left in defense, Zachary Bourguillard, Gabriel Corbeau, Rudy Camacho, Joel Waterman, and Mathieu Chouanière. In midfield, Sam Piet, Victor Wanyama, and Matko Miljevic up front. We had Joaquin Torres and Kai Kamara. Cool note here, Mason Toy was fit enough to make the bench finally for the first time since he injured his shoulder back in
Mm-hmm.
2021. Guys, how did you feel about that starting lineup? A lot of changes in there.
A lot of changes, yeah. A lot of the players, the Canadian players, and obviously Ramel Kyoto as well for Honduras. They had a real tough match midweek in that mud pit.
Yeah.
So, I was definitely expecting some rotation, particularly knowing that there's a pretty important clash coming midweek as well. So I was expecting some rotation overall, but I was a little bit surprised with the positioning of the defensive players.
Hey.
uh, Yeah, I understand what Nancy tried to do by rotating players in the starting 11. I kind of understand it. I feel that tactically it was really the right move to put Piet next to Wanyama with Driussi being the offensive midfielder on the other side, which is I think a very smart move, and that's what we needed I think in the midfield to really close it up. Um, I don't like to change players' position.
Mm-hmm.
When you find a position, like Waterman being a right center defender, central defender, being switched to the left. Corbo is not playing either way, so just playing him on the left.
Yeah,
Waterman
I get
Waterman
you.
has
Confused me.
Waterman has his everything. He's used to playing that position now, so I just don't like that. And we've seen that Waterman didn't have a really good game, so we're going to talk about that a bit later. But yeah, that's the only thing that really confused me. I was happy to finally see ZBG in the
Oh,
starting
man.
11.
I was really happy to see him. I wasn't expecting him at all, but I was really happy to see him. But just to come back, Hady, to your comment in which you talked about Joel Waterman being a right center back, I think that the thinking is both players are right-footed, right? So you're gonna play an inexperienced player just to help him probably in the best position for him, and put a Joel Waterman who's had a lot more games than Gabriele Corbo, and the timing is more on his side. He understands the flow, the quickness of the game. So I was expecting, if Corbo was dressed, I was expecting Waterman to be on that left side, just for that pure reason. We had a question come in from our friend from Houston. He hit us up. We're gonna put it on the screen in a little
Yeah, I got
second.
it.
Yeah. So he hit us up with you statistically mopped the floor with Austin. Played 11 versus 10 for a match, for half a match, and lost. What went wrong? Okay, no. So here we
How
go.
long is this show going to be? Oh, my apologies. I whacked my mouse there.
Yeah, it's we'll go through it, okay, guys? Because I don't know where to start with it. So
It's I think you'll get your answer, man. You get your answer at the end of the pod, after at the end of this segment,
Yeah.
after we discuss the whole analysis of the game. Because
So a
what
lot
went
went wrong.
a lot
Oh,
went
man.
wrong. Exactly. This is the kind of pod that Eve thrives on. Right?
Yes.
So she's gonna be very happy at the end.
Guys, it was a pretty straightforward first half, in the sense that both teams were not fully engaged in, and they were trying to capitalize on mistakes from one another. Not many flashpoints. So I want to hear you more, your analysis of a few of Wilfried Nassi's forced changes. First of all, I want to hear you on the synergy between Gabriele Corbo at right center back and ZBG at right wing back. What did you think about that? I'll start with you, Eve.
Honestly, Austin, at least in the first half, really didn't do a lot to trouble much of Montreal. So there was kind of a finite amount of judgment that we could make for this. But overall, honestly, I thought it was a little bit on the timid side from ZBG. And I don't know if that's because maybe he was holding back because there was an inexperienced player next to him. But I didn't see anything that stood out to me that said these two players would be a great pair together. I didn't get good vibes, I guess would be the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Hady.
Yeah, I agree. Now, in the first 10-15 minutes, at one point, it was pretty nice. Because at one point we've seen Corbo, follow, a striker right in the middle of the pitch, and then we've seen, the slide was done correctly. ZBG taking his place. It was done really. It's very smoothly. So I was like, okay, that looks good. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. It wasn't the same during the whole game. Unfortunately, now Austin didn't have like a ton of chances, but the few chances that they had were unfortunately very, very dangerous.
Yeah. I want to hear you guys on Victor Wanyama playing as pretty much a number 8 in that first half, with Sam Piet really sitting in front of our center backs, Hady.
Oh, I love that. That's exactly the way they should play when they're both on the pitch. I've been saying that for maybe since Victor Wanyama joined the team. That for me, those two can play together. And we've seen it in the first half because Samuel Piet was really, really, really good. So pretty sure we're going to talk about it a bit later. But yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me at all. Now I don't think it was the best game for Wanyama, but
No.
that's something else.
But part of me is wondering because he did go down injured partway through the first half, and he was down for some time getting treatment on the side or on the pitch. And he did go back on, and he seemed to be running, relatively normally and everything. But a part of me was, because it was rather an uncharacteristic match for him, a part of me was wondering if he's playing injured, if he's forcing himself. Just because it was really off from him performance-wise. He seemed really out of sync with the rest of the players out there.
Talking about out of sync, guys, I want to hear you on. I really had the feeling that there was absolutely no understanding whatsoever between K Camera and the pair of Joaquin Torres and Matko Miljevic. It was three players isolated playing their own game.
Yeah.
No synergy at all. And for me, what is unexplainable is that all three players were at training for the whole international break. None were called up by their country. They had been preparing that Austin, for sure. They prepared the Toronto game too. He had a lot of time, but they had been preparing that Austin game for a while, and it just didn't work out at all.
No, it was brutal. It was I'm not keen to see that experiment happen again. I'm just gonna say it that way.
No, I think that, in order to create a chemistry, you have to play with each other, right? So you're gonna go through, these moments in order to create something, right? So
right. But
so
maybe not to start the match.
Yeah. But that was like awful. First of all, Kai Kamara wasn't in a good day. I think it was his worst game with CF Montreal.
Oh yeah.
Since he joined the team. Matko Miljevic didn't play fast enough. Mm-hmm. Very, very slow to take a decision. Mm-hmm. And Joaquin Torres thought that he could dribble 6 players and go score. So, every time, keeping the ball a bit too much, not playing one time, trying to dribble. Yeah, sometimes he dribbled a couple of players, but,
It's the same criticisms that we've had for him basically the whole time he's been with the team.
Yeah, but like Eve, it seems like all 3 players chose that game for their worst performance of the year.
Yeah,
they didn't do anything during that game. Matko tried, let's give him that. He's the only one that tried, but still, he's just not used to play fast soccer. That's only it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it wasn't necessary. Well. No, I was gonna say it wasn't necessarily a game for him, but until we'll get to the second half of the second half, but both halves for Austin were pretty similar in the sense that they didn't stop pressing in second half. So Matko, it was a game for me that there were spaces, there were opportunities, but it's as if that the level between CPL, where he performed very well against Forge, and MLS just hit him in the face, and you could sense at some point that he was like kind of contemplating it during the game, like thinking to himself like, "Whoa, this is tough." It's another level, because he didn't play much this year either. So there's talent, definitely talent here, but the execution and quickness was definitely not there, guys.
No.
At halftime, the score was 0-0, and like I said, Austin went down a man as Daniel Pereira Gil was sent off for a second bookable offense in the 44th minute. Going into halftime, guys, what were you expecting from Wilfried Nasi with the huge shift that was brought by the red card?
I really thought that we would see multiple players enter to start the second half, to replace or to make an attacking contribution, because it had been relatively sterile attacking-wise from Montreal in the first half. Even though they were kind of buzzing around in the right half of the pitch, they really only had the one significant chance of note. on target. So I kind of expected that, assuming everybody on the bench is fit enough, that at least Kyoto maybe would come on and put in closer to a longer shift than he wound up putting in, I guess. Because obviously Mason Toy, I wasn't expecting 45 minutes for him, but yeah, I was expecting a lot more intensity and some more attacking subs.
Yeah, before I answer, I just want to put the question of Alain here. Are we expecting too much from Kai? Not an excuse, but I feel like our supposedly third or fourth depth forward has the expectations of a Kai version 2013. You know what, Alain? I feel that what Kai has showed us since he joined Montreal is a lot better than when he showed us yesterday. So we're not expecting, we're not expecting him to be a starter and then to score 15 goals exactly, but we're expecting him to at least not be a nuisance on the pitch. That's a bit harsh, but he was. He didn't do anything.
But that there's a thing with guys that we weren't sure when he came in to the season what he was going to bring us, and he kind of set the bar a bit higher than we were expecting. So now we're having these flashes of 2013 Kai maybe coming back, but we have to keep that in mind that he's on the very end of his career and that he's supposed to be that third or fourth striker in the depth chart. The reason he's been brought to Montreal in the first place.
Yeah, but still expect a bit more. Now, to answer your question, Sam, regarding halftime, it's very, very easy to say after the fact, right? So, it's very easy to give an opinion that's different of Wilfried Nancy, but at the time when he made the change, I was like, yeah, you know what? It was to be expected. To be expected because that's the way he likes to play. That's the system that he likes to use. And the fact to put a more offensive midfielder on the pitch for Samuel Piette was like kind of expected. Now, you know me and you know what I like. You know that I like Samuel Piette. And what I didn't like is that the best player on the pitch at halftime was Samuel Piette for CFMTL.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it
like
was
country mile, man.
It's not me. It's not because I'm biased towards Samuel Piette. It's because he was the best player on the pitch. So I think that the better move now that the game is finished and done and dusted, the better move would have been to maybe if you want to keep the same shape and everything to put Wanyama on the bench. Because Piette was really, really good.
Yeah, but that's exactly where I'm going, and it's not a question of second guessing here. It's more a question of I'm just wondering, if you're Sam Piette, you're sitting in the dressing room at halftime, and Wilfried Nancy says, "Sam, you're off. We're bringing in Ismail." Man, you probably know that you were the best player on the pitch, and you played, you're off, and I mean. You have to be sitting there and just wondering, I know he's the local guy. I know he's a role player in Wilfried Nancy's system. I know all of that, but this guy is just sitting there thinking, okay, I gave the best, probably one of the best performances I ever put in since I'm in Montreal, and I'm off at halftime. I think it's harsh on Sam Piette.
Yeah. You also have to wonder a little bit how much of that may have been pre-planned, whether it was a case of, because he was obviously traveling back and forth, right?
Yeah, right.
With the Canadian national team. I know he wasn't on the pitch, thank goodness, in Honduras. But still, he had a lot of travel as well. There's Canadian Championship coming midweek, and you have to expect that he's going to start that match for sure.
For sure.
So it could also be a question of managing minutes because it's been a minute since Sam Piette has played a full match this season. So
we're going to talk about the press conference afterwards, but I can tell you that it wasn't pre-planned for him to go out at halftime. So it was really tactical.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Sorry, I just I couldn't. Yeah, I had to jump in.
No.
So
Yeah, so for me it was well, I was sitting there, at Satsepuru, feeling a bit disappointed for Sampiet, but you're up a man, you're at home. I like the positivity in the
Yeah,
move
yeah,
too. With Fernassi saying, we're going for it, but
yeah,
I just had the feeling, you look at Matko Miljevic's performance in that first half, you look at Joaquin Torres's performance in that first half, man, these guys could have come out easily, and you put
yeah.
maybe Romel Kyoto
Exactly,
next, and you take Torres off, or you drop Torres in the
exactly.
number 10 position and you take Miljevic off. That's
Exactly. You know what? And and we've seen this duo of Kyoto Kai
yeah,
Kamara
yeah.
Work
being
well.
really, really good, and
Yeah.
in the 2, 3 times that they played together. So why didn't we try that again? Maybe Kyoto was a bit tired, but like it's 45 minutes, man. Like, come on, like he's a professional player.
Yeah, I know,
Like
and
I don't
he
know,
wanted
man.
it. He wanted it in that game, man. He was so
Like
pissed off that it wasn't working.
yeah,
Anyway,
I
so
think
yeah,
they could still be out there. Like I think this game could have gone on all night and into today, and it would still be
Oh, yeah,
0-1.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it wasn't the day for CF Montreal. The
No.
couple of chances that they had weren't able to shoot the ball. Like they were like just a couple of yards from the goal. I wasn't able to put it in the back of the net. It happened like 2 or 3 times during the
Yeah.
game, and I'm like it's never gonna go in. It's
No.
never gonna go in.
No.
But guys, one very early assessment was that Austin was not keen on parking the bus at all, and I was
Yeah.
impressed. They continued
Yeah.
pressing very high up the pitch and forcing errors, even though they were down to 10 men. And
Yeah.
No, they were bold.
Yeah, very, very bold, and it paid off in the 67th minute.
Oh my god.
It had to be him. Maxi Urruti gave the lead to Austin after he capitalized on a very good cross by John Gallagher. Guys, just I don't know how to ask it, but how can we concede a goal like that? Like, what went wrong in that whole sequence?
So Gallagher put in a really interesting cross. To
Very
be
good,
fair, it was a really interesting cross, and he was relatively far up the pitch, so it's not even as though he had burned several players. He had Mathieu Chouanière pretty. Yes, it was Mathieu Chouanière side of the field. Pretty close on his heels, when he made that cross. So it was a well-weighted cross. Rudy's control wasn't fantastic. Of course, that's something I think that we know full well is he doesn't have great control of the ball. Sebastian Breza's coming out was a very haphazard. Yeah, and then the central defenders, because the cross went, in front of them too far, it was just a weird set of lucky circumstances.
Hady.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I think the defense was really not. It wasn't their day. I think even Camacho made a few mistakes. Now, I don't think he did on the goal itself, but everybody was off during that game.
Yeah.
It's not normal. Like in the second half, and there's something also. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna deviate a bit from the program.
Go ahead, buddy.
What I don't like at all is the way we manage the second half. You're playing 11s versus 10, and the 10 players in front of you are still pressing. What does it mean? It means that you're gonna have tons of space behind the defense. Tons of space. Not one long ball behind the defense.
And
not even one.
To make their press effective, they were playing a very high line.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they had to. With 10 men, you
Exactly.
can't press high up the pitch if
No.
you play
Exactly.
a low line, a very deep offside line. So this is exactly the reason why I'm asking, where was Romel Kyoto? He's our
Exactly.
player who goes after these long balls. You couldn't play these long balls because Kai Kamara won't run off the shoulder. Kai Kamara, if you're gonna use them in this particular way of playing, he has to be the player up, deflecting the ball to a player in the back of the defenders.
Running in behind. Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
And
that player was Kamara, sorry, Kyoto, and he was sitting on the bench.
Exactly. And to come back on your question about the goal itself, Gallagher, yes, has a great cross, but it's not normal that ZBG is not marking him better than that. Like,
Yeah, but
he gives
still,
him a lot of space for that cross.
yeah, that wasn't a particularly good sequence for ZBG,
No.
Oh,
but
you're
there's
right. It was ZBG
yeah,
center
it was
pitch. My bad.
Yeah.
ZBG,
Yeah, it was
but
ZBG.
there's three center backs that have one player to mark and he's free. That's crazy,
And he's a
guys.
player who has a notoriously heavy touch.
Yeah, exactly. But he's a worker, Urti's gonna work. He's gonna
Oh,
make
yeah.
those runs. He's gonna make you guess. But still, communication looked completely off, and it didn't look good for defense at all. Talking about changes, they finally happened in the 72nd minute. Nasi proceeded to make a triple substitution. Off went ZBG, Torres, and Miljevic. In came Johnston, Kyoto, and Hamdi. For me, pretty much like to like tactically. No big changes there. So I'll ask the question, but I think I know your answer, guys. Did Wilfred Nasi wait a bit too long to make these changes?
Again, we have the power of hindsight, and
Yeah,
it is yes.
that's easy for us. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like I said, unless the players were carrying a lot of fatigue or some knocks, then yeah, because it was pretty clear early on that there were a lot of opportunities that weren't being properly exploited.
Yeah, and not only he waited a bit too long, I think he should have shifted, the formation a bit earlier too. I know that Sam, you love that. And maybe go to a 4-man defense, go to a 4-2-3-1, or even go to a 4-3-3 or 4-2-4. I don't know, man, but like you needed more weight on the offensive line. You needed more power. You needed more crosses. There weren't enough crosses. Like you have Kai Kamara, you have Kyoto, you have people that are able to put some headers, to play physically, to win some balls in a box, and they're not receiving any service. That's bad.
More than that, because at some point Austin stopped their very high press, and they were kind of content to drop a bit deeper.
Well, when they had a goal, for sure.
After the
the last 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But this is what I'm talking about, because the changes arrived in the last 20 minutes from Wilfried Nasi too. So what happened is we were very flat because of that system of the wingbacks. So you were playing your whole tactical system on 25 to 30 yards.
Yeah.
And like very flat all along from left to right on the pitch. What was missing was players in half spaces. So you can't play that tactical system if you don't need all that width. If they're cramming you into spaces. What you need is layers of players, like a 4-2-3-1, like a 4-3-3 with some diamonds in there. I don't know, but you need players in half spaces to get that shift, because what we were just flat, and now where your passes go, they go behind. They go 90 degrees next to you, and you're not creating anything. You needed players in these half spaces, and eventually, when you create space, then you have an overlap, you have an underlap. Now you can get your cross in, but now you're just crossing for the sake of crossing, because you had maybe a yard or two in front of the defender. So no quality in these balls. So I think it was okay, I think, for Wilfried Nasi to stay with that tactical system until his substitutions. But once he made them after the goal, go back to back four, put players in half spaces and get the ball moving. You're a possession-based team.
Yeah.
You pride yourself on being a possession-based team. You can't possess the ball properly in front of 10 men.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing for me. So his last change was a straight swap at left wing back. Mathieu Chouanière exited for Jojea Quizera. Guys, what did you think of our first round pick performance?
Wow.
I thought
was really, really good.
Yes.
I thought he seemed to kind of be one of the few with a creative spark in him when he came on. He kind of, I don't know if he embraced like nothing to lose or what, but He seemed hell bent certainly on getting that ball into an attacking opportunity. So power to him.
Yeah, and what he did exactly what we needed him to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, beat player one on one and then cross the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what we needed from our wing backs.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get that from Mathieu Chouanière, who had an awful game.
Poor game.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that enough from ZBG, even if he did it on a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
But like I still remember, you know, the Camara that missed that golden opportunity. But
That
yeah,
was
you
right
know,
in front of me. Don't.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
so yeah, you know, that's exactly what you needed from Quizera. And then, you know, Eve said, you know, when the draft happened, that she sees him as a left wing back, and we've seen what he can give as a left wing back, and that's awesome because that's exactly what we need from him. Like he's not gonna, you know, you're not gonna give him a lot of defensive responsibilities because he's not a defender,
originally
right?
a winger.
He's a winger. But, you know, in those games where we play 11 versus 10, or in those games where we need that extra goal, you know, putting him there is very, very, I think, a very good option for Wilfried Nasi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was lively. He wanted to, he had something to prove clearly, you know, and that was nice.
True.
And a nice setup for him, like you said, Eddie. So that's why, you know, I like seeing these. I really appreciated his performance. I like seeing these young, relatively new players come in, but you have to calm down, you know, expectations a bit, because he came in a very, very nice situation from him. With Darwin goal, you probably Nasi told him, you don't have to defend anything, just go down that wing and get balls in. You know, that's what we need. So he was, but I liked how, you know, how bold he was. You know, a few moves, few tricks. Kept the ball, was confident with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He looked very good. He looked very good.
Mm-hmm.
Got me off my seat once or twice, so I really liked him. So the game ended 1-0, guys, for Austin, with, like we said, Montreal not creating much. A very frustrating night at Stade Saputo, and one that Alain didn't like and sent us that tweet. My question for the Ball is Around Montreal: was this Austin game more frustrating than the early season NYCFC debacle? Eve.
Any game at Yankee Stadium, I'm willing to kind of almost just write it off in advance, because Yankee Stadium is, you know, an affront to soccer. So yeah, honestly, for me, this one is because it's at home and you get shut out and you have a former player score against your team.
Yeah.
And, you know, the entire team just seems to have, I don't know if somebody like laced their Gatorade with some melatonin or what. So yeah, for me, this one is more frustrating. Early season, we could give a lot of latitude as they juggled the two competitions and whatnot.
True.
But I'm struggling to find a valid quote unquote excuse for last night.
Hady.
Oh yeah, so frustrating, but for other reasons. I don't think that Austin was the better team. I don't think that Austin was awesome and was you know, the team of the decade and everything. You know, New York City FC is the MLS reigning champion. They have a very big squad, a lot of depth, very, very talented players.
Big payroll too. Yeah, you're right.
A big payroll and everything, and a great coach that left, by the way. That left the MLS now. So for me, you know, losing against New York City for 4-1 is not the end of the world, because we weren't there yet. But losing against Austin, well, while
and
we
in the
have,
manner.
Yeah, in the
exactly,
manner.
not only the manner, you know, if you look at the two squads, we have a better squads than them. Yes, they have Driussi, that's really awesome. They have a couple of players that are a lot better than all of players. I agree. But if you look at the squad altogether, our squad is a lot better. And that's what frustrates me. And of course, the fact that we're at home for sure. And the fact that we didn't create anything. 11 versus 10. So yes, very frustrating. And yes, the most frustrating game this season yet.
Yeah, same for me. So, and probably for the same reason that you guys, and plus that we're really, really trying to be something, a type of team, and we talked about possession, about movement,
Yeah.
and we didn't see anything in the second half. We saw static players.
Yep.
Static. No, the only player that was really, really moving, trying to create something was Jose Quizeric when he came in. It was difficult to watch at some point. Just asking yourself, like, man, there's something missing. There's no spark. There's no life in this team, man. Coming back from that break, you wonder, do they have the break in their legs, and they need to get going again, or I mean, it's clearly not fatigue, for the majority of the team who were in Montreal,
Yeah.
I
For
don't.
me-
For me, it's just one of those crazy matches where like everything that could go wrong does go wrong.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what's sad is that on that game, 3 players played well. 3 players.
Same.
Samuel Piet, Quizera, and kind of Breza. He did save a goal at one point.
He did make one really good stop.
So, you know what? Those 3 players, I have nothing to say. The rest, where were you, man? Like, where were you?
Yeah.
It's just not normal. Like, they're still on holidays. The Wilfried Nancy said that, he gave them 5 days off. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, they're still at home now. Like, come on, wake up.
No, I'm. But he gave them 5 days off. Yeah, but no, they've traveled and stuff.
I don't. Like, what I mean is their head is still at home.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was like, no, they didn't stay at home for 5 days.
Their head is still at home.
Okay.
Guys, Justin Furtado was very disappointed as well, and he hit us up with this interesting question. When is the last time we dominated a game and won when we were a man up? Do you know, Eve?
I know. When Montreal hosted TFC last year, TFC took a red card like 4 minutes in.
Okello. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Okello. First game of the season last year.
No.
No.
No, that's not the one in Miami. The one at Stade Saputo.
Yeah, it was at Saputo.
True.
Yeah.
I remember Drew
Fisher.
Drew Fisher was referring. I remember.
Yeah. And there was a lot of kerfuffle. But that one.
Yeah.
But that was such an abominable iteration of TFC that like I'm almost like I don't think it would have made a difference if they were 10 or 11. But yeah, that would be the one.
Oh, but and just to even give a bit more depth to this question, as of today, this season, Montreal scored 0 goals when they were 11 versus 10, conceded 3 goals, and I think 1 loss and 1 draw.
My God.
Ay. No,
That's disgusting.
2 losses
Disgusting.
Versus Philadelphia, also lost in that match.
Yeah, true,
11
true,
versus
true,
10,
true,
so
true,
2 losses and a draw.
2 losses and a draw.
Even
guys, even worse.
I'm sorry. Let me slide in with my pessimism.
Just make it worse. I had the feeling, guys. Do you guys remember the game Zlatan was sent off at Stade Saputo?
Yeah.
Yes, and we lost on a goal of Ola Kamara.
Yes. I had the feeling I was watching exactly the same game.
Oh my God.
And when Justin Furtado sent that question, I had flashbacks right away, like that LA Galaxy home game in 2018.
Yeah.
The only
it
difference,
was on a Monday.
The only difference is that at that time, the Impact, because it was called the Impact back then, played well and just missed chances. They had a lot of chances in that game, and they just missed those chances. It's not the case. It wasn't the case yesterday.
Well, the couple
my
of chances they did have, they missed. They weren't fantastic in the match versus
chances,
LAFC. Yeah, I don't recall them being fantastic in that match versus LA. I don't recall them being amazing.
No, me neither. I have the souvenir that we were keeping the ball a lot, not doing much with it because they were just not able to put in that penetrating ball or get combinations to get close to the box, and it's exactly what we saw yesterday. So it's a bit disappointing. Patrick White says it's the time of the year where good teams step up their game. I'm worried.
No.
Well, I need another match before I declare myself worried. I'm not going to use that one to write off. So I need to broaden the sample size.
Uh, what I'll be worried in the last 10 games of the season. That's where everything that's everything where everything is gonna unfold. That's where I'll be worried because you look at the standings right now, and you know, between the second position and like the 10th position, it's just a matter of a couple of games being lost or won. So it's yeah, no, it's not very important.
But man,
It's 17 points from Columbus, who is 11th, and 23 in Montreal, that's 5th. Or sorry, 26 from 26 from New York, that's 2nd. So there's like nine points between the 2nd place and the 11th place. So I'm not worried yet.
it's a dogfight in the East,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
a
think it's gonna
dogfight,
be
exactly.
like that until the very end. So this is what worries me a bit because there's no separation a lot in these teams. So every game is
Well,
so
Yeah.
important.
that's what screwed Montreal last year. Is
Yeah.
that they're the one of these losses that could have been a win, or even at least a draw. That would have made the difference for Montreal last year for going to the playoffs. So. I definitely think you have to be highly aware, especially when we think of those matches where Montreal coughed up goals that they should have avoided. Yeah.
So I like the word you used, aware, not worried yet, but starting to be mindful of
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Awareness. Good, good. So Eve, I always ask you the question. I kind of know the answer, but I want you to say, what was the fan experience yesterday? And were you surprised by the number of people who braved that weird summer weather we had?
I was really surprised by the
Yeah.
attendance. It was announced at 15,000 and a few more. So I was really surprised by the attendance, to be honest with you, especially because people seem to like really enjoy cars, I guess, in Montreal, I learned this year. So I was really surprised, pleasantly, obviously. And it wound up being nice weather, thankfully, by the time kickoff rolled around, and the sunset at the stadium was absolutely beautiful. It's like my one nice takeaway from the evening. But overall, I don't know. I felt like the ambiance in the stadium was a little bit off. I will say, like 1642 was definitely loud, compared to usual. But I felt like it just felt like everything was a little bit off. The players were off. It felt like the ambiance was like out of sync. There's one of my cohorts in 127 named Jen. She and I will usually find ourselves yelling like in sync together, "Come on!" at multiple points, and it just happens like naturally. It's not like we coordinate it, but it didn't happen once last night, which is a big shock. So if that doesn't happen, then it means it's an off night.
Patrick saw some cop scarves in the
Interesting.
1642 section. Some seem to be coming back. That's interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
And
So,
there was a positive tweet from them yesterday saying, "Oh, one city, one club, always loyal," or something like that. With which we haven't seen in a while. So, hopefully some good things are coming.
yeah, hopefully.
We'll see.
Hady, you were at the post-game presser. What did Coach Nasi have to say about his team?
Wow! Oh man,
How
so
was
many
he? What was
things.
his move? His mood?
He was very disappointed.
Oh yeah.
It's always difficult for a coach to come in front of the media and after a loss and just talk, right? So it's a very tough, tough challenge for him, right? So he was disappointed, of course. He tried to protect a bit of the players, and when we asked a bit, more specific questions, he showed his true colors. But at first he was like, "Yeah, no, it's okay," and everything. And then I was like, one of my questions was like, "Are you happy with the chances created in the second half?" He's like, "No, not really, because we didn't play it fast enough. One touch, we were a bit slow in transition, and then he started saying everything that they didn't do." But a few things that we learned during the presser. The first of all, Lassie Lassie last day of COVID protocol was Friday. So he was available for the game yesterday, but of course he didn't train.
Yeah.
So that's why we saw him, sign autographs at the end of the game because he was out of the COVID protocol. So that's one
he
thing.
just wasn't match ready.
Okay,
exactly. So that's the first thing. Second thing that we learned, of course, that Georgi Mihailovic aggravated his injury.
Oh my god.
So now, but he was, Wilfried Nancy was kind of.
Wilfried Nancy cannot predict an injury timeline to save his life.
That's not his strength. Definitely not.
He was kind of happy though, because he said even Georgie is happy because it could have been a lot worse. A lot worse. So it seems that they were very scared when he got the injury. I wasn't there, but when he said they were relieved and happy, that means that they thought that it was very, very bad.
Dear God.
So he said he should be back within 4 weeks. So
within 4 weeks? Like
exactly.
Like, is that the verbatim?
He said in 4 weeks, to be honest.
Okay. There's a slight difference. Thank you, semantics.
But he said in 4 weeks you should see him on the pitch again. So maybe
a
bit earlier or a bit later. So we'll see.
I'm leaning towards a bit later with the way Coach Nancy calls his injury returns.
He struggles a bit with that one. Yeah.
Yeah. But it depends what the doctors are telling.
I know. So. It's just kind of become a little humorous for me, in a sick way. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, Coach Wilfred. Not like making massive fun of you. I promise. I'm sorry.
And I also want to answer, a bit later, maybe a week later, the question of Amin Sabri, who asked us last week. Why we were not seeing any senior players playing with the U23s, and Wilfried Nancy gave the kind of answer because when talking about Mason Toy, and he's like, I wanted him to go play with the U23s, but the U23s were playing on turf, and it's not really good for someone that's coming back from an injury.
No,
so that's a bit a good point for Amin's question last week. So. A few very, very, very good info that we got from the presser yesterday with Wilfried Nancy. Now, with the players, it was Samuel Piette and Mathieu Chouanière. Nothing really exciting to say about what they said. Samuel Piette still very professional, saying, I completely understood the reason why I was substituted. It was tactical, and I understand. I'm here whenever the teams need me and everything. This guy is so professional. It's just not normal. Amazing, I would have been like, at one point I would have answered something like, my coach doesn't know what he's doing.
No, you can't do that.
Or whatever,
that's one way to see yourself glued to the bench for the rest of your career.
Yeah, but still, like, come on. Like, he's always the one, like, really, left aside whenever they need anything. I don't know, man. Whatever. So that's it.
Right on.
Next game, Canadian Championship semi-final at BMO Field, and we'll preview it quickly, guys. It's the first one of the season against Toronto, and it's with the final against Vancouver or York United. York United the final of the Canadian Championship on the line. Do you have any apprehension, guys, going into this game, knowing that Toronto will probably be playing their season?
That's sad. Yeah. Oh God, no, but I mean that's sad for Toronto, but honestly, like I fully expect them to put out their best starting 11 that they possibly can, for one, which means Montreal is definitely going to have to do the same by extension, if they want to compete, and BMO Field is not often been a friend to Montreal. Traveling there, I don't know if Montrealers are allowed back.
I don't even know.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't, because I learned recently that one of my colleagues is a big TFC fan, and she asked if I was going, and I said I don't know if Montrealers are allowed. I told her that we're very scary individuals. And anyway, no, overall, feels like a dangerous, almost like a trap game.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that that's the only trophy that Toronto is gonna be able to play this year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're playing their season like you said, Sam, and it's a bit scary. Thank God that Insigne is not with Toronto
They're
yet.
probably gonna parachute him in.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be. I'm just still so disappointed that we're not seeing any more games for the Canadian Championship in Montreal. Like,
Yeah.
man, are we cursed or what?
No, we
there
got the
was
final last year,
this
so.
year. This year there was a
Yeah,
there
but,
was
like,
a
still.
draw that took place. I
don't care.
watched
We're
the
cursed.
draw. No,
You watched
no.
it, Eve?
Yes, I did. It was
No,
on One
we're
Soccer
cursed.
with
Okay.
Dwayne Rosario and Patrice
Yeah,
Bernier
yeah,
pulling
but
out
we're
the
still
balls.
cursed.
No,
Cursed.
but yeah, okay, but
No World Cup. No Canadian Championship.
no
Like,
World
come
Cup
on, man.
no World Cup was a choice.
Yeah.
That was a choice. That was not the
We're cursed.
that was not the gods.
Yeah, it's the
No.
gods that played with Legault's mind.
Don't get me started. We're not a political podcast. I can't do it. But no, I actually am not able to be salty this year because I was I have been in the past when these mysterious, backroom coin tosses were happening. But this year, I am not able to criticize how games were given out.
Yeah, I'm not criticizing Canada soccer. I'm just saying that we're like I really
This
it's
year
a
we had a
shame
draw.
that
I know it's disappointing, sure.
yeah, it's a
But we
shame
had a
that it's a shame that we're not hosting any of
Yeah,
the
I'm
games.
just so
until
freaking
the
happy
end.
we had a transparent draw. Okay.
Yeah, for once.
I
you're
was
right.
just so happy that happened. I think I haven't even absorbed the outcome.
Okay, guys, let's go with the classics.
right.
Montreal will win if Montreal will lose if.
All right.
You ready? Eve? Okay,
I'm ready.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Hady, go ahead.
Montreal will win if they wake the up. Sorry, Gail. And Montreal will lose if they don't play their game, if they give away their possession.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to keep ball possession because Toronto's defense is like, so yeah, they should be able to win if they play their game.
Mm-hmm. Montreal will win if they're able to shake off that really dire performance. They're able just to put it behind them really quickly like that. Mm-hmm. And Montreal will lose if they are not on the front foot. Even though they're on the road, I think they do need to definitely make sure that they are playing their game and not trying to match Toronto's tactics.
Yeah. Montreal will win if they treat this game like a Canadian Championship semifinal. And the way I'm saying is that we're 2 games away from Champions League, so that has to be the mentality going in there. Not like, okay, we're playing Toronto. Oh, it's a midweek game. It's like it's do or die time, and that's not what we saw. I know it's not the same situation, but there was no urgency at all yesterday at Saputo. So will they be able to create that urgency Wednesday at BMO Field? If they do, they will win. And Montreal will lose if Toronto make it dirty, if Toronto make it difficult, if Toronto get stuck
the
in.
lobbying of the ref.
Yeah, if Toronto get in there and Montreal deviate from their own path, their own game plan, and go into Toronto's, we will lose that game.
Montreal will lose if Toronto gets a red card.
Oh,
Yeah, probably.
Oh Lord.
Cool. So, guys, we'll
bad.
we'll keep that in mind and we'll revisit it if anything if that happens.
Side note: my call for Canada losing to Honduras about Honduras scoring first, I was right.
Oh yeah,
You're always right, Eve. You're always right.
No, but
Thank you,
we're all
Hady.
right in the sense that we said we have to play our game. We have to not. Yeah, there was a weather.
Okay, well, it was humanly impossible to play your game.
Yeah, I know. Guys, we have to go into the Apple deal. We
Yep.
were solicited by listeners. They want
Yeah.
to know our feelings. They want to have our takes on it. So just
So
put.
I'll start with the first one. It's a question from Louis Collat. So go ahead, Sam.
He says for the French market of well, Louis Collat was responding to
To
Tate
Tate, yeah.
Tate,
Okay,
so
so let's
we
start
can
with
put
Tate.
Tate's
Okay, go
first.
ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope for the next well, is around the episode, the gang tackles the question of how they see this new MLS deal with Apple TV for CF Montreal. Seems like a win for small market teams. This is when Louis answered for the French market of Montreal. It is scary. TVA Sport is doing a fantastic job covering the team, one of the rare things all fans agree. I know they said French would be covered, but will it have our Montreal Quebecois flavor? Question mark. And we had a question from a simple guy who says, "Here's a question before you ask for them. Aside from the guaranteed money, is the new Apple TV deal good for growth of soccer in North America and in particular CF Montreal? Even if you give free access to games on Apple TV to the season ticket holders, they are conquered audience. Will a casual or non-fan subscribe to this stream to watch MLS games? I don't think so. I'm not sure this was the right move unless it is not an exclusive deal and some games will be got on cable." So guys, um, uh, for me it was like I listened to the press conference. I read the written statements. For me it was all word salad. It confused me more than anything. So before we answer these questions, and I know we are going to when you're gonna explain it to me, Eve, can you please explain the deal to me like if I was a 10-year-old, because I'm not sure I
Okay.
understand.
Okay. Hi, Sam. How
Hello.
are you today? MLS, in order to show their games, they shop around to all the various TV stations and streaming services. Basically, how much do you want to pay us in order to have our games broadcast on your platform, and therefore some folks will go subscribe as a result of that. So in their shopping around, I am willing to bet, although I don't think it was ever said explicitly, Apple was willing to offer them the most money. And therefore, MLS took Apple up on their deal. So $2.5 billion, which is to me an astronomical sum of money, even though it's a drop in the bucket compared to lots of other leagues. For 10 years of exclusive right, or sorry, for 10 years of rights. Exclusivity is something that is still kind of up in the air.
Very blurry.
Very definitely a lot of question marks on whether or not games will still be shown on TV. But basically, Apple offered MLS a bucket of cash, and MLS said, "Ooh, that looks pretty good," and took the bucket of cash.
Good. Hady, now can you explain me the deal like I'm a confused 30, almost 31-year-old?
Yo, dude, it's all about money.
That's about it. Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's really all about money, right? And at the end of the day, like if at the end of the day, look at the MLS position, they doubled the amount of money that they received yearly. They used to receive 90 millions a year. They're now receiving 250 millions a year.
So that's almost tripled.
Tripled, sorry.
Yeah, it is.
So more than double. Yeah, tripled.
More than
Yeah,
doubled. Yeah.
So more than doubled. So yeah. So like that's a lot of money for a league that is still growing. Yes, the league grown a lot since the last TV deal, and I just don't like the 10 years. That's the only thing, and we'll go into that. I think that the MLS is going to grow very, very fast, and 10 years is a lot. But yeah, no, just to explain to explain it for a 30-year-old, it's just all about the money and the fact that you're getting a lot more money than what you used to have, and that's very good, not only for the league but also for all the franchise. Because of course, a part of this money is distributed to the franchises, so that's a good deal.
So I guess this is where Tate was saying that it was an interesting move for smaller markets like Montreal because they are gonna get an equal part of that money. Is that the plan?
I would assume that they
Yeah,
would
okay, that was
distribute it
okay. It
equitably.
wasn't clear enough.
I don't think that was ever said one way or the other, but I would assume that it would be distributed equally amongst the teams, just like when an expansion team comes in.
Yeah, but it's not only that. Don't forget that the way that it's distributed in in MLS, it's not directly like in Europe where you give this is 10 million or whatever. It's
Yeah.
usually distributed into TAM, GAM, a minimum salary being even higher than what it is right now. This is the way the league helps the clubs, right? So it's a bit different. But yeah, it's good for small markets. Yeah, maybe. I think it's
In that regard, yeah.
I think just the fact that you're going to be able to attract more players because you're going to have more money to spend, whatever the way you're able to spend it. That's I think pretty good.
Or like Patrick says, Joey will now lose $5 million a year instead of 10. So maybe not gonna be still in the black from this, but nonetheless. But yeah, hard to say because as well though there is the caveat for small market teams if they are no longer visible on TV for their local or semi-local in the area audience. I think it will be difficult for them in that regard as far as the visibility goes of their games, their product. Like you said, Hady, unless the money that the teams get allocated, however it gets allocated to them, unless they're able to make really noisy moves with that influx of funds.
Yeah.
Because to me, honestly, Apple TV to me it's a pretty niche streaming platform.
That's where I don't agree. So okay, I think this is the way word sports is going now. Streaming services, traditional TV.
I agree.
Yeah, exactly. Traditional TV is not the way forward, unfortunately. And we're talking about, a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, but we're not going to have any more visibility. And like you said, Eve, if we wanted, if visibility was enough to bring more people to the stadium, how come that 10 years later, the stadium is not full? It's been 10 years. 10 years that MLS is being broadcasted on traditional TV. It didn't do anything.
No.
At one point, it's just Drogba that brought people to the stadium. So it's not being on traditional TV or being on a streaming service that's going to change how many people are going to watch the games. And to be honest, I'm going to be even more blunt. I'm about to be 40 years old in a few months. All my friends, I would say about 80 to 85% of my friends are all of them soccer fans. Nobody has cable anymore. Nobody.
Oh, I don't have cable.
Nobody has cable anymore. So when you think about it, these people, how do they spend their money? They spend their money on Netflix, on the Zone,
streaming,
on Netflix, on the Zone, on Disney, on Crave, on all those streaming services, because it's easy. You look at, when you have traditional TV, you look at paying a bill of $150 or $200, and it's a lot. When you spend your money, $20 here, $20 there, $20 here, you don't really feel it, right? In a way, because you just say, it's okay, it's only $20.
If you have
right?
a couple where the billing date coincides, you feel it.
Yeah, but the thing is here is that Apple don't have a lot of, I think they have, I'm not sure, I think they have baseball too, MLB.
Yeah, they do have MLB.
Okay. So that I think that's where it's gonna hurt a bit, is that like a simple guy said, when you're gonna have more casual fans, occasional fans who are gonna be looking for something,
But-
they won't be able to go on, let's say, the Zone where you have full of sports and just fall on an MLS game and say,
And-
what, how much all is playing? Let's go. listen
Well,
a half an hour and
MLS is a separate subscription within
that's true.
Apple
Yeah, you're
TV
right.
unless you're a season ticket holder.
But it depends. Some games will be free on Apple
Some,
TV.
you're
Yeah.
correct.
So
Some.
again, the
But
casual
it's
fans,
just gonna be
But-
it's never gonna be a Montreal game. Who are we
No,
kidding?
most likely not. Yeah.
you never know. You never know. I think they're gonna switch. That they're gonna mix and match. You know, one
Okay.
week it's gonna be a team,
Well-
the other week it's gonna be someone else. So I think that's the most logical. We don't know how it's gonna work, but you know, the casual fan that you're talking about, Sam. You know, the same casual fan that usually watches it on TV. That's most of the time over 50. Is going to be the 20-year-old that's, you know, looking at Apple TV and he's like, oh, you know what? Montreal is playing. I'm going to pay this time $20 and watch the game. It's exactly the same thing.
I
It's
won't find
exactly
many
the
of
same
my.
thing.
I
How
won't
much
find
money do
many
you
of
think
my
these young
friends.
people have?
Oh, man.
How much disposable income do the youth of today have?
A lot. The $20? I'm sorry.
No,
$20 for one time? I'm not saying subscribe for the end of the year. You know, $20 for one time
Okay,
for one
Hady,
month.
Hady, like you're throwing
Come
out
on,
this
man.
you're throwing out this number. Nobody knows how much that MLS add-on, quote unquote, is going to cost yet.
I would be very surprised if it's more than $20 a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah, but no,
I'm
no,
sure
I
it's
just
gonna be
want to
around
put it out
$10.
there.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be around $10. I said 20 just to
make
to
it
even
more, yeah.
make it more. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to be more than $20.
Okay, well,
So-
I don't know. I clearly have a different mentality because I would just be taken to the high seas.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't
But-
have that reflex of saying, you know what, oh, there's a game, I'll just pay $10 and watch it. I wouldn't have that reflex at all. And I
No.
don't know many of my casual
I-
MLS fan friends that would do that, honestly.
No.
If you're looking for something to do when you're on Amazon, let's say on Prime Videos, how many times have you paid for a movie that you wanted to see or
Zero.
subscription to? I so many times.
Not
It happens
me.
so much. I don't know. I want to see a
have I ever
series.
told you about my friend BitTorrent?
But it's just there. I'm just I'm
Well,
on
that's
Prime
the- I think-
Videos and I just click and it's done. I don't
But-
need to search for anything, right?
I think that's the gamble that MLS is
I'm there
taking.
like antivirus, VPN.
I think it's a gamble they're taking, and it's gonna be because that's what you're saying, Hady. It's the feeling that the league has and Apple has towards that clientele, you know. So it's gonna be interesting to see if it materializes. I have my doubts, but you know,
One sec.
they studied their market. They just didn't pop that out of nowhere. So it's maybe, man.
How many people subscribe to DAZN when it switched to they got the Premier League and the Champions League?
But that's a lot of soccer, and it's as well it's well reputed.
And don't
And
forget-
it offers a lot of other sports as
Good.
well. It also
If
has
you're-
NFL and crap.
Good. I love it. That's exactly my point. If you're a fan of baseball, and now you have soccer that comes in,
Yeah.
is it not going to be something that you would subscribe to?
No, but-
because you're
but-
going to be able to
Yeah.
have MLB and MLS.
Yeah.
That's, all I'm saying is we have to widen our scope a bit
Yeah,
and look
for sure.
look at the potential customers that you can get. And I'm sorry, I see the same amount of potential than traditional TV. I see it's exactly the same. The only difference is that you're getting younger audience, a younger audience with Apple TV. And if you want to grow a game, you're looking at growing a game. You're not going to grow a game by converting 50
Oh my
year
god,
plus
you're
people.
literally gonna.
Yeah, it's ageism. I know it's ageism, but you're gonna try to convert the 15 years old because you know that
No, I
in
understand.
the next 40 years, these people are gonna follow your product. It's nothing against I'm about to be 40, so I'm not that young anymore, right? It's
I'm
not.
just waiting for like a text on my phone.
I'm not young anymore. All I'm saying is, if you look at it from a marketing point of view, it makes sense. It just makes sense. You're getting more than double the price, then you're getting the same amount of target audience. So I don't know. For me, I don't know. It's logical.
Eve, we're just old school, Eve. That's what happens. Addy's
And
thinking in the
cheap.
future and cheap. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I guess anything to add on that? I think we've pretty
Um,
much
I'll
said
just
it.
I know Holy Gale was saving it, so Holy Gale is pretty disappointed.
Yeah, yeah. She's not the only one though.
A lot of people are disappointed, and it's understandable.
But
Yeah, I mean, like I'm annoyed that it's a separate service to pay for, like as a season ticket holder.
But
Thankfully,
you don't yeah, but you don't need because you
I've
hack and you
yeah.
steal and you and
Careful,
you get
Hady.
torrents
Ahoy,
and you
matey!
but there,
so it
Oh,
doesn't
there we go.
affect you at all, right?
but the classic talk came back on Twitter. Every time something happens, it comes back. This is the end of the club.
Oh yeah,
No,
for
it
sure.
isn't.
Okay,
So
deep.
I just want to make that clear. It's not the end of Montreal having a football club because we have an Apple TV deal. Don't be
No.
worried, guys. Guys, let's move on to the men national team. I don't want us to spend too much time on it, but I just want to hear maybe a sentence or two, you guys, on what was your general feelings on that game in San Pedro Sula? We lost 2-1 to Honduras in that.
Shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
CONCACAF by nature.
Yeah. Yeah, so many things went wrong during that game. Yeah, everybody's talking about the pitch, and yeah, that's understandable for sure. But we didn't play well.
No.
At the end of the day, Honduras was playing on the same pitch.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're not more used to playing on that type of pitch than us.
Exactly. And sorry, but Honduras taught us a lesson. It's as simple as
Yep.
that. They taught us a lesson.
Yeah, they yeah. It was a poor performance by Canada, and I think we have. I think that's a kind of a mentality that we grew into through the years. Is that when things are happening like this, we get in that mentality of, oh, there we go, CONCACAF is happening again, and I think it translates even to the players and how they approach games too. And you had the feeling. I was looking at. I think it was Tejan Buchanan. I saw.
His body language. He threw his
man,
hands
the
up in the air.
frustration, and he wasn't the only
Oh,
one. There was
no.
a lot of frustration out there. While Honduras were keeping their motto, they were doing what they had to do. Well deserved win by Honduras. That's the only thing I have to say, really.
And again, no use of long balls.
No.
What's going on in Canada? What's going on in Canada? If the pitch is not, you can't go with ground passes.
No.
You have to go in the air. Like it's simple. It's like a 6-year-old would see that. Again with my ageism, but still. But yeah, no. I understand that you want to play your game. But at one point, you have to understand that you need to win the game.
And the circumstances too. I mean,
Exactly.
That's the whole point. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think all in all, disappointing the performance. I think players got caught up in the moment, in the occasion, in the CONCACAF stuff, and didn't put up a good fight. Honduras went to fight and they won.
I think though, for me, I'm starting to get a little bit annoyed. Canada struggled mightily to look like a team, and there's so many times in CONCACAF when you're gonna go and you're gonna play on a glorified cow patch, right? It's just unfortunately how the federation is, and it's kind of part of the nature of the beast as well. If the other team's more familiar with these poor pitches, then they can use that to their advantage. But Canada doesn't really seem to be, and I don't think you can train in mud to make yourself prepared, but Canada struggles a lot if the pitch is not top-notch quality or close to it. We saw
or frozen.
Or frozen. Yeah, we saw it, in Hady, we saw it in Jamaica, we saw it recently in Honduras. So I think Canada maybe needs to get down and dirty a little more in training.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, cool. Interesting. So, guys, as it stands, Canada is sitting second, 3 points behind first place Honduras. but we have a game in hand on both Honduras and Curacao. So still everything to be played for and our fate in our hands. So that's good. I told you guys that we would follow the under 20 CONCACAF Championship. So there was a game that was played yesterday, and it was another disappointing result
shocker.
coming out of Honduras.
Oh, what a shocking goal.
This time it was in Tegucigalpa, not in San Pedro Sula. Our under 20s dropped the first game 1-0 to Cuba. Guys, you wanted to have a word on it?
How can you lose to Cuba?
Yeah.
How?
I've got something
it's not
for
the
you
Cayman
guys.
Islands.
I've got something for you guys.
Oh, I know. One of my favorite events in all of football happened during this match.
Tell me.
The red card to the keeper.
Yeah, the second yellow to the goal.
Yes.
No, I was answering Hady, who said, "How do you lose to Cuba?" I'm just gonna read something out. These are the numbers of minutes played professionally by the Canadian team. 15,825 when you put them all together. These are the number of minutes played professionally by Cuban players included in that squad. 3,359.
Jeez Louise.
So this just puts it even more into perspective as what a disappointment that game was. Back to you, Eve, sorry.
No, the goal that was conceded was super disappointing. It was really bad error at the back, and the Cuban player profited on it really well. It was a very well poached goal, and then it was really late in the game that the keeper picked up his second yellow card, and Cuba had made all of its substitutions, so then an outfield player had to go in, which is literally my favorite event in all of football. Anywhere it happens, I automatically have to tune in. Like, one time I remember I cornered my mom and I was like, "Mom, we've got to watch Kyle Walker in goal." And it was like hours after the match had actually happened, but I was like, "We've got to watch it." Anyway, so no, but it was incredibly disappointing. On the bright side, the pitch seemed to have recovered really well.
Yeah,
different place though.
Different pitch.
Yeah, it was in Tegucigalpa, not San Pedro Sula.
Good point. Yeah. Okay. Well, they must have gotten less rain.
Yeah, probably. Hady.
You still had 20 minutes to score a goal.
Oh yeah.
Like 20 minutes.
They had 90 minutes to score a goal.
Yeah, but like 20 minutes, 11 versus 10 with not a real keeper between the sticks. Like, no, I'm so disappointed. This is humiliating. And I think that Moribiello has to do something now against the USA, which is
I think he's gonna
be in
danger.
Impossible task. Yeah, for sure.
Just a quick watch for those who are wondering for players connected to Montreal. So Maël Henry from our academy started the game for Mauro Biello, while Jefferson Alphonse, Ridazuri, Kishan Ferdinand, and Jean Agnelassi made the bench. At halftime, Mauro Biello took Henry off and replaced him by Ridazuri, while Kishan Ferdinand came into the game and replaced Noah Abatne. Jefferson Alphonse and Jean Agnelassi were unused substitutes.
Yeah, I just want to add also that Moribiello did try something, right? He did 4 changes at halftime.
Yeah.
Like, he tried to shuffle things, but it just didn't work. So is it a lack of talent or a bad luck?
Not cohesive? Maybe?
I don't know, but that's not normal. Not normal. Because if they're not cohesive, why is Cuba under 20 cohesive?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, with all my respect to the Cuban national team, but
So next game already tomorrow in Tegucigalpa as well.
Yeah.
After the women, guys, Bev Priestman dropped her latest list for the June international window and the friendly game at BMO Field against South Korea. Guys, I won't read it out. Okay, I'll tweet on our Twitter account the list if you didn't see it. So just hop on to at TBR Montreal. You have it right there. And for those listening live, you see it on the screen. So we'll leave it there for a while, guys. I just want to ask Hady and Eve, any surprises in this list, and what are your general thoughts
Oh
on
man,
that list?
so many surprises, so many surprises. I'm not a big, a big fan of NCAA women's soccer, so I don't know a lot of those women that were chosen. But yeah, there are a lot of changes. So you see, players like Anna Karpenko from Harvard, or you see. Someone like Zoe Burns from USC Trojans. You see who's the third one? There's a third one. Oh no, there was
Lysian Prou?
this Diziane Prou, exactly.
Yeah.
Diziane Prou also that I don't know at all. So
No.
it's kind of exciting for me. It's exciting to see new players. But what excites me more is the at last Bianca Saint Georges making
Her
the squad
return.
and her
Yes.
return, and I think she's gonna be awesome for the women's national team. She's
She's-
so good, so good.
No, she's been in awesome form with
Yeah.
honestly, so many of the Canadian players have been in excellent form lately.
Yeah.
The players either playing abroad or playing in NWSL. So many of them have just been on fire, like goals all over the place, left, right, and center. Or clean sheets, in the case of Kaylin Sheridan, for example. So I'm honestly super pumped to see them all together.
Yeah. By the way, Lysiane Prou is unattached.
Oh, okay.
Unattached
Right,
FC.
I remember that. Okay, yes, I do recall that.
Yeah, so she's unattached. She's a goalkeeper. Anna Karpenko also is a goalkeeper. Zoe Burns is a defender. And I don't know why Jade Rose wasn't selected, but she's a defender too. Maybe
Yeah.
she's injured. I'm not sure. I'm not sure
Yeah,
exactly.
no, that was a question on my mind as well.
Exactly, but it's gonna be nice to discover those players. Can't wait to watch those games and to see what they're able to bring to the table.
Yes,
And-
I was.
Yeah,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
and Evelyn Vian has been an awesome form.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was looking at that list, and I was thinking unless I'm mistaken, guys, correct me if I am, because I'm sometimes I am when I'm talking about the women national team, but it seems very light at right back, isn't it? So could we see the return of Janine Becky at right wing back, maybe in a different system?
I mean, it could be, because it wouldn't be dissimilar to how she's being used with the Thorns. So it could be possible. But I would think Jade Riviere would probably de facto.
Yeah, and you have Ashley Lawrence and Jade Riviere, so I think you're set on the right back position.
Cool.
Now Ashley Lawrence has said that she is a right back now, even if she was a midfielder. Now she's a right back.
Yeah.
That's where she plays with Paris Saint-Germain. So yeah. No, so I don't think so. I'm so happy to see Bianca as left back
that's great.
again. So that's gonna be nice. But yeah.
And one player who was selected had a big move this week. Jordan
Yes.
Heidem moved from Paris Saint-Germain to OL Reign. That's the Seattle team, right?
Yes.
I like her again.
Yeah, of course.
I like her again because she left Paris Saint-Germain.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Excellent. You're safe.
Heidem transferring from PSG to OL Reign for an undisclosed fee. I'll just go by the numbers, guys. Her time in France mounted to her making 73 appearances, 9 goals. She won La Coupe de France and won Division 1 Féminine. That move was widely praised by fans on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere. Why is this such a good move for the 21-year-old? I'll start with you, Hady. Unless you wanted to jump in, Eve, go ahead, though.
No, go to town. You can go ahead first, Hady.
Okay. She wasn't playing much with Paris
Nope.
Saint-Germain.
No.
She wasn't playing much. She's 21. If she wants to realize her potential, if she wants to improve and become the great player that she supposedly will be, she's going to need to play minutes, a lot of minutes. And right now, she's not getting that experience. I love, the fact that our players are being, purchased to go play in Europe. But if you're not playing, it's not really worth it. So might as well go to NWSL and be a starter, or be close to a starter in rotation or whatever, and get minutes as much as possible. And the NWSL has made so many efforts in order to bring back some stars to the NWSL, and it's working. It's working, and it seems that the league is still growing. When they had their problems in the last couple of years, so now they're trying to put everything into place. And don't forget also the CBA. The new CBA signed between the NWSL and the players is so important, because at last those players have now rights. They're able to get holidays, to go on maternity leave, to be supported, to have the right
proper
tools,
accommodations when they travel for matches.
So that agreement, that CBA, is now already showing results by bringing back some good players to the league. So for me, it's a win-win-win situation for Jordan Heidema, for the league, and for the Canadian national team, because she's getting minutes now.
Yeah, and I think she's going to be a really important player for OL Reign. They've only scored 7 goals in 9 games. And defensively, the team has been really sound. They've only conceded 6. So they're definitely...
Okay.
Oh, God, Hady.
I see what you did.
It's Father's Day. You gotta get a dad joke in, I guess. Oh, Lord. No, but they need a goal scorer. They need somebody who can make an impact in the front for the team. Yes, look at me. So
you're doing mom jokes now.
Oh God, no, thank you. So for me, it's a great move for Heidema, because I think she's going to get a lot of chances to show her worth and to prove herself with this team. And I think if it works out well, if she has good chemistry with her teammates, obviously I'm sure she knows Quinn really well. But aside from Quinn, then I think it could be a really good move for the Reign, who have clearly gotten the defense part down pat, but definitely have got to get a little bit more offensive firepower if they want to make any moves in NWSL this season.
Cool. Interesting, guys. Very good. Guys, part 1 done. Check. We'll go on to social media with the team first.
Yeah.
And it's Hady in charge as well.
Yeah, it's true. It's Hady on
yes,
social media
I know.
duties. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's me on social media this week. So let's start with the first tweet. Is from a journalist, Douglas Gallivan, that says, still can't get over that it was Rudy on a 10-man expansion team to take down CF Montreal on their home pitch last night. Sports storylines have such a fascinating poetry to them sometimes. It's just funny because he's completely right. So yeah, that's the first thing. Second one is from Tristan Amour. We always quote him because he says so many interesting stuff. If you
he's
don't
a
follow
hoot and a half.
Yeah.
If you're not following him, which I doubt, that you're not, but please follow him. Interesting tidbit at the very end of Olivier Renard's TVA Sport segment. The CF Montreal boss says that the club has an agreement with the CanPL to loan more than 5 players to CPL clubs. What do you think, guys?
Very interesting. Yeah, really interesting. And, I think you got to definitely be really careful if you are CPL, because you don't want to become a loanee league. But at the same time, if it's good for the growth of the CPL, then awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, for Montreal, it's fantastic too, because now we talked about the importance of having a second year for very young players like Arifa Yao, like Sean Rea, who have to confirm, like Jonathan Serrois, who have to confirm now that their first year in CPL was really what they're worth. so that Montreal really can have an evaluation. So,
Mm-hmm.
by doing that, having that more than five, it gives you the opportunity to send players back and not be stressed to say, oh, we have that young kid that we want to send out on loan, but we want a second year for the other one, and now juggling with numbers. So,
Mm-hmm.
very interesting. I'm happy. I'm happy that they managed to do that. It's cool, man.
Yeah, there's only just four players that are loaned out right now. So, even if it was only five, we're not using those five spots. And, I think that the Canadian national team, the U20 national team, is a very good way of showing their skills in order to maybe get a loan into the CanPL, the young
Mm-hmm.
players, like Maël Henry, like Alphonse, like all those players. I think they should, you know, try their best in order to get a loan and get professional minutes. That's it's gonna be very important for them. So maybe Ridazo here. Who knows?
Yeah.
Um, Next one, it's from Mihailovic mentality. You versus the guy she told you not to worry
Oh,
about,
come on.
respectfully. So you
Oh
have
snap!
Matko Miljevic on the left and Georgi Mihailovic on the right. Of course, it's a fan of Georgi Mihailovic. So I thought it was very very funny.
Yeah.
And fourth tweet is from Sean McMahon. Absolutely
Seriously,
need this jacket from last night's CF Montreal's game. You know
of the
what? I tried to look for it and I can't find it on the MLS store.
well, he
It's
clearly
so
found
beautiful.
something.
But
It was legit a beautiful coat,
Oh wow!
and
Which
they had the same warm up kits, which were also equally nice.
but I want to ask something because if you're a fashion expert here, you wear this with what?
Uh,
jeans,
Because if I find one, I have to know yeah,
jeans,
jeans.
So
I
jeans.
think jeans
as
is
a girl,
okay.
I'd wear it with yoga pants, like a black pair
Oh,
of yoga
yeah.
pants. So maybe black like track pants if you're a guy. Um,
Track pants. Oh yeah, okay.
or yeah, yes, but you could also wear it with jeans. I think yes, the right
Black
jeans.
jeans.
No, blue. Blue?
Yeah, blue jeans. Oh, black
You
jeans.
could make blue jeans work as long as they weren't like a really really dark blue.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay.
Always happy.
And last but not least, last tweet, the fifth one. Send this to anyone who wants to compare Azteca to that lake we saw last night with the Canadian national team. That's from Only Les Rouges on the 14th of June. You can physically play soccer in the cold when you kick the ball. It will roll on the pitch like it's supposed to.
Hmm.
You can also play in the pouring rain. What you can do is play on a pitch that is so waterlogged the ball can't travel. The equivalency of what we did is if Honduras scheduled the game at high noon and forced us to play in 45-degree humidity. The equivalency of what Honduras did last night, what it was if we played in minus 15, but also straight up didn't shovel the pitch. So that's for people that that said on Twitter, oh, you know what? We played in Edmonton. It's normal that Honduras. Yeah, no, it's not normal. I don't agree. Sam, you have something to say.
Well, head a ball that's frozen at minus 20, man. You want to play in, in that swamp in Honduras. No, I'm joking, but
Head
it's
a ball when it's 45 degrees. Same thing, right? You get
well, you
burnt.
don't have these marks of the lineage of the ball
Yeah.
that stick in your face once you're done heading it. But what I mean is, it's 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 such particularities. It's both extremes for me and for probably for the Central American teams coming in to play at minus 25, minus 20 is comparable. So I think it's all a question of perspective. I'm not saying he's right or he's wrong. I just think it's all a question of perspective and what's good or what's not for you because every I think a lot of players will give different answers on that one, and
Hmm.
it's not as straightforward as he makes it look like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's it for me for social media.
Cool.
And we have a new game this week, and I'll explain. It's because I loved it. I love it. The women national team Twitter account put out asking the fans to create their five-a-side team.
Hmm.
So
Sorry.
I'm
Here.
gonna ask you to do it.
Yeah, but are you asking us to do it like by choosing us and 4
Oh
players,
hell
like the
no!
national team did.
No, you're not playing in no 5-a-side. I
Okay,
want 5
exactly.
players.
Because
Okay. Oh,
that
I
was
have
the
to think
tweet.
of a fifth
That was
player.
the tweet. You choose
Yeah,
you and
yeah, I
4
know, I know.
players.
I
So
modified it.
okay.
So Hady, you had a team, right?
Yeah, I do have a theme.
And the image is 5-a-side pitches.
Okay.
I love it.
Exactly.
And can it
exactly.
be? Does it matter? Does the player have to be retired, or can they be
Whoever.
also current players? Okay. Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
So, guys, who wants to go first? If you want me
Ladies
to go,
first.
Me?
Ladies first.
Okay. I would like to play with Karina LeBlanc in goal. I will have Christine Sinclair as my striker. I will have Diana Matheson as a midfielder. I'd also like to have reflecting. I'm gonna add in Ashley Lawrence to do some running up and down the side on my 5-a-side. And that makes 4 players, so I need to pick a 5th. And my 5th player will be a defender, Vanessa Gilles.
ooh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
It's a choice. I made
No
my
Christine,
choices.
no
I'm
Christine
willing-
Sinclair?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
said
she said
Christine
it.
Sinclair.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, she said
She's my
Sinclair.
second player.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Okay.
I'm like, what?
No,
Really?
I had Karina LeBlanc, Christine Sinclair, Diana Matheson.
Oh, so you went like I thought you would go like.
No, I'm sorry. I
linear.
went
Okay,
by.
so
I
was
went
like, what the
by
hell?
by who moved me to pick them.
Anyways,
That's how it-
5-a-side, you don't have positions. Everyone's moving around. so-
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, no, you
so
don't
I was
have-
like
you don't
somebody
have a
with a
goalkeeper.
defense, somebody
Yeah.
with a middle field, somebody with the running, somebody like, a lateral defender. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Go ahead, Sam.
I got Steph Labbe, Kadisha Buchanan, Amy Walsh, José
Yeah.
Bélanger.
Nice.
I always
Oh,
said how
nice.
much I like that
José
player.
Bélanger,
And
good choice.
Christine Sinclair.
Nice. Listen, I chose players that I saw play a lot. So unfortunately, Amy, I didn't see too many games of you. But I chose Erin McLeod as a goalkeeper. Kadisha Buchanan as a defender. Jessie Fleming, because I think that she's the best midfielder Canada ever had, and she's gonna even be better and better. And I love that duo, Christine Sinclair, Melissa Tancredi. I think Tancredi was so underevaluated. I think she's one of the best strikers I've ever seen play. So yeah, this duo of
Good
Sinclair
choice.
Tancredi is awesome, and yeah, that's my 5.
Right
Now
on.
we have to argue who's going to win the tournament.
I will because
Well-
Tancredi and Sinclair will kick some ass.
Well, I
You
don't
have
know
it.
what's gonna happen because Christine Sinclair is playing on all 3 teams, so we're
Yeah.
gonna have
And
some
Buchanan
cloning,
twice,
some
yeah.
human cloning going on.
I think Hady, you have a very strong team.
Yeah.
A very, very strong team. And
Yeah, mine was based mostly on my feelings.
yeah, me too.
I was not tactically minded. I played with my heart.
I think we have a very tight game when we play
Yeah.
against Steve and I. But Hady, you're gonna
Yeah,
Hady, you win the
I
tournament.
think Hady
Thank you,
was
thank
the
you,
logical
thank you.
one.
Thank you.
That's it. We'll bring it back. I like that.
Yeah, nice nice
I
game.
like
I'll maybe edit a bit more the intro, the theme intro. Maybe add a bit of animation in it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
So guys, I think that's it for us.
Right on.
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
Before I say thank you to everyone, I want to say Happy Father's Day to every father out there. Happy Father's Day to you, Hady.
Thank you very
Happy
much.
Father's Day.
Thank you very much, and thanks to Alain who mentioned it first.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, at the start, you're right. And thanks for everyone who rode with us during the show, and everyone who's gonna listen during the week. Next week, 6:30 Sunday, guys.
That's my
Yeah.
game plan.
Yeah.
I might not be here because my sister is coming from Lebanon, so might not be
Okay.
able to be here. But yeah, yeah. That's
TBD.
it.
Yeah, we'll
TBD.
see. Okay, so we'll hit you guys up on our social media platforms to tell you when the next show is. Have a great week, guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you in roughly 7 days' time for another episode of The Ball is Round. Take care.
Bye, everybody.